In this video, we're going to walk through how to access your student's Similarity Report once they've submitted to your Turnitin assignment. All you need to do is open up your Turnitin assignment to view your student submissions. Once inside your assignment, you'll see a list of your students and their submissions. All you need to do to open up the Similarity Report and view Feedback Studio is to click on their score or the grading pencil icon. When you click on these, it will open up Feedback Studio to view their Similarity Report. You can scroll through your student's paper, or you can use this little thumbnail over here on the left to move from page to page. It will let you know how many pages there are in the paper and the student's word count. Here's your student's name as well as the name of their submission. When you've opened up Feedback Studio, you can move to your next student Similarity Report without having to close out Feedback Studio and click on your next student. You can do this by clicking on these little arrows here to go to the next student submission, or you can click on this arrow to go back to the previous submission. You can also click on this drop-down, which will give you a list of all your students, and you can move from report to report. This helpful little question mark icon here will offer you help in these areas, which will take you to our guides with help on how to interpret the Similarity Report and viewing the Similarity Report. Over here on the right, we have our Layers button, and if you click on that, you can turn off or on the Similarity Report. If you turn it off here, it will also turn off for your students, so please make sure that this is checked and that you see the similarity highlights. This is your similarity layer, and this is our student score. If I click on that score, it's going to show us our match overview and our largest matches and where those matches came from. You'll notice that these are color-coded and numbered. As you can see, this purple number 3 goes with this purple number 3 here. If we click on the match itself, it will open up and let us know that our student's paper has matched to a student's paper at Tennessee State University. Now, we cannot show you that student's paper because of security issues, but it does let you know where that match came from. If I was to click on this 2 here, it'll tell me that my student's paper, this highlighted portion here, matched this website, and this is my student's match within the context of that article itself from that website. If you'd like to see a larger view of this match, you can click this button here to view the full source view. And over here on the right, you can see your student's match within the actual article itself. At any time, you can click on this link and view that internet source as well. Now, these are our largest matches. Within these larger matches reside smaller submatches. If I was to click on an arrow next to any of our larger matches here, you can see it lets me view the match breakdown. So if I was to click on that arrow, it will show me all the smaller submatches that reside within that larger match. For instance here, if I was to click on this 2% match, this student at the College of Estate Management used just this smaller portion, highlighted here, of my larger match within their paper. If I was to scroll up, I can see that this internet source used just this highlighted portion of my larger match inside their internet paper. Likewise, you will also see publications, and it will match to those various publications as well. And as you can see, it will show you even the smallest of submatches down to 1%. In this case, this student used just this small portion of my larger match. You do have the ability to exclude sources if you'd like. And if I exclude sources, I can click on that button, and then I can choose the sources I would like to exclude. When I exclude them, they will drop off my list as well as my students' list. If you do not want to have to click on the match breakdown arrow to view those smaller matches, you can click on this second button here, and this will give you an all sources view and a complete list of every single match from your student's paper. If you click on this button here, these are your filters and settings. As you might remember, when we created this assignment, we had the ability to choose these filters and settings on the assignment level. When creating the assignment, if you choose exclusions, it will affect every student's paper that is submitted to that assignment. But you do have the option with this button here to exclude these sources on a paper-by-paper basis. So if your student's score was 55 and you were curious what their score would be if you excluded quotes and maybe bibliography, and decided you wanted to exclude 10-word matches or less, you can choose your exclusions and click Apply Changes, and you'll see my 55% match drop to 54. If you are just curious what a student's score would be based on those exclusions, and you only want to check one student at a time, you're going to want to use these filters and settings here instead of choosing the assignment level options. If I wanted to go back to the original score, I can turn these off, apply those changes again, and my score has gone back to 55%. If I have excluded any sources, this button here will take me to a list of those exclusions, and if I want, I can restore all of these exclusions back to our main list, or I can click on them one by one or multiple at a time and click Restore, and those matches will appear to your student again. Down here we have two buttons. This first button here is our submission information, and it will include submission details such as submission ID, submission date, word count, and page count. This button here is your download button, and you have three options here. You can view your student's originally submitted file if you would like to take a look at their Word document that they submitted inside Word. You could click on Originally Submitted File and it will open up that document. Digital receipt is that submission information we just saw, but in printable form. And lastly, you have your Current View Report. And if you click on the Current View Report, it's going to prepare you a comprehensive document, including all your students' matches. And when we open up that document, you can see here's our students' paper, their submission information, where they matched in our various repositories, their overall match score, where they matched to, and a list of their largest matches, as well as any exclusions if you've chosen any. Again, I got to that report by clicking on the Download button and Current View. Your student's Feedback Studio looks and acts exactly the same way yours does. The only difference is they don't have the ability to exclude sources. Only the instructor has that ability. They do have the ability to open up their own Current View report if they would like to take that to a tutor or a writing lab or possibly back to office hours. You also have the ability to access the text-only report. If you click on text-only report down here at the bottom, it will open up a different document viewer. It will still show you your largest matches. You are still allowed to choose any exclusions. And if you scroll down, it will give you your student's paper, and it will only show text. If this was a research paper that included a number of images and or graphs, it would take out those images and only show you their text. Some instructors like this view because it's easier to read their student's paper. It also gives you the ability to change modes. So for instance, if I wanted to show one match at a time, I could choose that and click Change Mode. And it will show me each of my students' matches and each of those similarity matches. Now, again, I got to that text-only report by clicking on the text-only report link down here at the bottom. Thank you very much for watching.